Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today we're taking a look at this letter to the community from Pokemon TCG Live. This came out on November 5th, and at the day of releasing it should be November 7th, which is when Serging Sparks is releasing, and I will have some Serging Sparks content today as well. Probably one video, maybe two. We'll see. We'll see. I'm a little bit busy with Pocket and Serging Sparks and just other stuff as well, but that isn't YouTube stuff. But I'm really excited for Serging Sparks. I think it's a really cool set. It's it's like a solid set. It's definitely a much more exciting set than Stellar Crown in terms of like the Pokemon. Stellar Crown had some insane trainers, and um, it didn't have like super strong Pokemon. Stellar Crown had Trapghost EX, which is kind of this really boring Pokemon, and then it had a bunch of really cool trainers, but really cool trainers can only be so cool. Surging Sparks has, I mean, we'll talk about the Battle Pass here, and that's kind of cool. But anyways, I'll just read out this letter and talk about it as with what we see. So it says, "Hello, Pokemon TCG Live community." Oh, also, Pocket just came out, so I keep playing. I played a few games. I haven't played a ton of games recently because I have been mostly playing Pocket, and I've been enjoying Pocket. I've been doing some content on that. We'll be doing some more as well, as well, of course, as live content and general Pokemon content. A lot of my content, most of it is not me playing on either the live app or the Pocket app. It's me just talking about stuff. But ultimately, I have been playing a few games and I have noticed a few of these changes, and I've noticed a glitch. I actually posted about a glitch on my community tab just quite recently. But anyways, we're thrilled to share some exciting updates with you. And not only will the new set be releasing, but they're also taking their steps in improving their first steps towards improvements in how players experience the game's progression and economy by making changes to the currency ladder and battle pass systems intended to level set players for these and future updates. This is a bit concerning of this wording. Specifically, they're taking their first steps, which 2 years into the game's like release, I don't know exactly when it originally came out, but it's been a while, and it's been pretty disappointing so far. Just objectively, there have been a lot of like glitches and things that aren't in the game that would be nice to see in the game. So this is looking at the currency, like the economy, I think, the ladder, which is heavily related to the economy. Or no, the battle pass is related to the economy. I get the two confused. And the ladder, which is the rank ladder, right, I think. And so these are things. The ladder, I've always criticized Live for its ranked ladder, which I'll get into. I said that I was hoping it wouldn't have a ranked ladder. We're seeing Pocket doesn't have a ranked ladder. Pokemon TCG Online, I'm interested in hearing down below in the comments actually how many of you have played Pokemon TCG Online versus how many of you haven't. Maybe I should do a poll on that. I probably should at some point, but I'm sure some of you have, and I'm sure pretty much all of you have heard about it. It's the predecessor to Pokemon TCG Live. It had flaws, and Pokemon TCG Live was supposed to, at least the community, including myself, thought that Live was going to come in and fix the issues that were with Pokemon TCG Online, and then build upon those, as well as keep the things that made Pokemon TCG Online good. And it didn't, quite frankly, or quite simply, it just didn't, because there's a lot of stuff to get into, which I don't really feel like getting into right now. But ultimately, it's not something that Pokemon's really committed to very much. So this could be a sign that they're committing more to it. But the one thing that was asked for was a ranked ladder. However, ranked ladders, and this applies to a lot of different games, can cause a level of toxicity in pretty much every game I've played with a rank. So I'm a fan of Super Smash Bros. It's in my logo, and the game's online mode with the ranking system is quite toxic. Because of the ranking system, people will do things that are like just not fun. Like I very much, and most people would say that the online game is just kind of flawed in some manner, and ultimately one of those main issues is the toxicity. I've played other games with the rankings as well, and people can get a little toxic in those with the rankings and aren't really as toxic in unranked, because if you lose then or win or whatever, it doesn't really matter as much. And at the end of the day, these are games. This should be fun. And I enjoy Live because I enjoy Pokemon. Everyone has a different experience, though. And as I said, we'll get into that as they talk about it some more. But there's this new Battle Pass screen. I played a few games of Live, and I saw this screen, this thing down here, which is the new. I mean, this thing, obviously, it's not here. So I don't remember exactly what it looked like. I think this wasn't like a full screen thing, like full screen width thing. It was just most of it. But or it was just like it was like a lot of like gray and white and stuff, but now it's the full screen. This looks like pretty good, to be honest. I like the darker color scheme. I don't know if I can go to dark mode on this, but that's kind of cool. And then these boxes are black instead of red. I don't know if this used to be red and is now black. I kind of forget, but in live these boxes are red, or they're black. They were red, but all the other stuff's the same. Which I thought I didn't really know what was going on. And then I looked at this and I was like, oh, that's what's happening. Battle the professor. What? Okay, well, I did not look at this image very much before. I said I glanced. Oh, I opened it. This is not great quality. Okay. Battle the Professor. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it says that here, but anyway, so this is interesting, and they are combining the two battle passes into one, and then the battle pass can go up to level 74. If the battle pass XP is the same, which it looks like it's similar, though it might be like easier to progress up at here, which increasing it to 74 levels ultimately means that you need to you can like you won't necessarily get up. I mean, if you're getting it like right now, I just got up to level 50 somewhat recently, so I wouldn't have gotten 74 levels with the current system because I've like been playing less. It's something that you could do, but it takes more work, like by a noticeable amount. Right now, getting to level 50 is generally not that difficult if you play like a couple of games every day, which is pretty reasonable, or just even less. You don't need to do that. You could just play probably one game every day, and you'd get there pretty consistently with a little bit of room to spare. But it looks like it might be a little easier to get up the tiers. I don't exactly know what the rewards are for the premium versus like regular battle pass. By the way, you should always they're reworking the economy, but presumably you should always be buying the premium battle pass. That's how it works right now. Though don't buy the 15 levels that you can get. There's not really any reason to get that. Or I think it's 15. It might be 10 or 6. I don't remember. But don't buy those free tiers, or those tiers that you can get for spending your in-game currency. You want to save that for other things, and you'll earn rewards for every tier, including a battle pass exclusive Pikachu EX. Upon expansion release, and another featuring Archaludon EX at level 34. These are two of the better Pokemon from the set. Ultimately, Pikachu EX is like the poster child of the set and of Pokemon, though it's not a very good attacker. It's pretty bad, to be honest. It's not super bad. It's arguably the best stellar attack, but it's not great. It is 3 different types of energy, and that's your only attack. It's like a supporting Pokemon Formaride on EX. We'll see exactly how good it is. It's certainly a solid card, but it's certainly not a broken card either. It's a solid card. Then Archaludon EX is one of the main attackers, and one of the other main attackers, which I would have liked to see, as the other one would have been Ceruledge EX. In terms of the good attackers, I think those are the best two. I'm honestly like, I don't remember exactly what's in the set, but there was Serging Sparks in the main attack. I don't remember. But anyways, these are the two Pokemon, which is certainly pretty fine. And this will be one of the primary ways for trainers to unlock rewards, and then it will no longer require crystals. Trainers will level up the battle pass more quickly, and will be monitoring these changes. Oh no, maybe there is no premium battle pass at all. I guess that's what it is. So that's fine. I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. But this is fine. Theoretically, if you're a newer player, you might not buy the premium battle pass because you might be like, oh, that sounds like I mean to pay actual money, or also it might seem like something that maybe just wouldn't be worth it. It is worth it, but theoretically, this just makes it a little more streamlined, which is nice. Then they've also made a few tweaks to the ranked ladder, and including the addition of win streaks. These were in Pokemon TCG Online. They were not really much of anything, to be honest, in my memory. And after your second consecutive win, you'll earn more points as you climb the ranks to the Arceus League. Here you'll continue accumulating rank points, which will use an upcoming system for the most dedicated trainers. Is it supposed to be which we will? I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading this, but anyway, so it'll be used in the future. And I don't know. I'm kind of concerned if they make it super competitive. Ultimately, live is, I mean, it's just Pokemon. It's like a fun game, and it's not like trying to win's bad, but people try to win anyways. I mean, that's like, I think everyone who plays Pokemon to some extent wants to win. Some want to win more than others, but then you shouldn't make it like the big issue with the rank ladder isn't the issue that you get a value from winning. That's cool, and that's why people want it. But the issue, of course, is that if you lose, which you will lose, then it'll feel like actually bad to lose. It's a game. You shouldn't really ever have. I mean, you shouldn't be like excited that you lost. You should hopefully you're excited you had a fun game, but it can make it frustrating, especially when you get a few losses in a row, potentially due to randomness. I had a really bad game. I just played one game before this. It was really bad. I got kind of unlucky. My opponent also got a little bit unlucky. I got really unlucky and was going to lose the game. And then they quit. Or no, they didn't quit. They started AFKing and then, or they played really slow and they started AFKing. It was just like a really bad game. And I don't know. I mean, like, the rank ladder just is kind of toxic right now. I think if you've played it, you'll have experienced people slow playing, or just like stalling, even more just like AFKing. This isn't something I experience all the time, but it is something I experience some. There's a lot of control. I've played like a handful of games these past few days, and they've almost all been against control. Control is super good on the ladder because it's also annoying. If you get your opponent annoyed, they might make misplays, and then you might win more, but ultimately it's hurting the experience for almost everyone, probably yourself as well. I mean, some people like playing control, and I enjoy playing control some as well, but a lot of people don't enjoy it at all, and most people don't really enjoy playing against it. Again, I don't like despise playing against it, though I don't love it. I think it's fun from time to time, but ultimately, rank ladders do kind of encourage control, and a lot of people complain. For example, Charizard DX was really good, and a lot of people were like just unhappy about that. Dusknoir, you'll just see more of the stuff that is kind of annoying with more of a ranked ladder, which this seems to be pushing. The idea that they are going to do something in the future is cool, and we'll see what this is. But ultimately, this is something that I'm not super excited about. I think it's not something the game needs, certainly. I personally think it's something that's not good for the game. But I'm sure most people will not necessarily think that, but I don't think too many people will say this is what Live needs. I think most people think that Live needs to work. Like it has serious issues. Like I played a game and one of my challenges was to play a stadium, and it says I'm 2/3 of the way through that challenge. I don't really know what to say about that. It must have been some glitch. Admittedly, they did just change the system of the challenges, but I mean they should work. It's not like a glitch like that happening from time to time is fine, but it obviously happens all the time. It's not like like every time, but it happens a lot. It happens very consistently and very much so. Ultimately, though, the glitches are things that need to be figured out, right, like very soon. More cards being added, because ultimately if Pokemon was like, oh, we just think that we're going to move the cutoff from, instead of black and white, we're going to move it to, actually it was Heart Gold Soul Silver in Pokemon TCG Online, which is just kind of weird. That just when it started, it just happened to be the cutoff, but it would make a lot more sense as cutting off at black and white, which essentially pretty much most people treated it that way. But if Pokemon was like, the Pokemon Company International, by the way, the company who makes Pocket is not the same company who makes Live. Not exactly. They are related, but it is not the same. They are, like, there's some pretty major differences in the ways, like, in a lot of things behind it. But ultimately, if the Pokemon Company International, the Pocket team was like, we want to make the game from Sun and Moon on. We just don't want the black and white cards in the game, and they have a valid reason, then that's fair. I suppose it would depend on the reason. Ultimately, I do like the live expanded format more than the official one, because the actual expanded format with black and white on is a really toxic format. It's like not a very good format. There's a lot of control, like really, really serious control locking decks where you can't really play anything. Unlike like standard control, there are countermeasures and tech options, but in expanded, it's not really that way. You can be shut down very quickly and be shut out of most resources, and that's not fun. It's not like you can't play any cards, but you can't make a lot of substantial progress. On the other hand, there are also a lot of really turbo-y fast, powerful decks that you can't really stop, which are also things people don't like in standard. With Raging Bull EX, I feel like people don't despise that deck, specifically playing against it, right? And it's a deck that's relatively linear, and linear in terms of like the game plan, not necessarily in terms of all the actions you're taking during a turn, but in general, the game plan is like, oh, I want to just take a knock at every turn, and that's about it. There's Briar, which adds a layer of depth to it, but it's not that much of a layer of depth, but it's a lot of control, or like pseudo control at the very least. There a lot of decks have like item, like it's probably two-thirds. I'm not super familiar with the meta. I mean, it's just a format that people don't really play that much. But well, the only format that people play a lot is standard, because that's the main one you can play. And pocket, I guess that's like a different format as well. But it's in between a different format and a different game. You could call it either one. But in the full expand, there's like probably two-thirds of the deck are at least as control-y as a deck like Bayonet EX, potentially with like Duststorm or whatever, as well as something like Venomoth with maybe Frostlass or whatever, but a lot of them more controlly than that as well. Or super. There's also like decks without counterplay, and like there's one of the other best decks is the Alolan Raichu deck, which is not fun. It's like pretty objectively a terribly designed deck. If Pokemon's like, we want this to be the best deck, which is one of the best decks, it's really unfun. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's like a board wipe deck, but ultimately there's only one turn in which anything happens. Like in the entire game, almost nothing. Like for the one player, nothing matters all game. And if you can counter it, you can counter it. If you can't counter it, you can't counter it. If you counter it, you win. If you don't counter it, you probably lose. It's quite boring. It's a deck you can play in live expanded, and it's kind of boring there, but there is more counterplay, or I mean, people are expecting it more. Like theoretically, you can get punished for the counterplay, but not so much in live expanded. Ultimately, this isn't me saying that live expanded is. I think it's quite enjoyable, or it can be enjoyable. There's the question about like matchmaking based on rank or something. I don't really know how matchmaking works in live. Ultimately, that does need to probably be a little better, because in live expanded, I often play against like random decks that just aren't really particularly fun for either of us, because I'm playing a deck like, what's the deck I played in expanded? I played this like pretty underwhelming Saturday deck, but it's not like a completely terrible deck. And if I play against some random person with some like random cards, then I'm just going to completely destroy them, and I'm not going to have a fun time, and they're not going to have a fun time. So ultimately, a rank-based pairing system is important. For example, Pokemon TCG Pocket has it, and Pokemon TCG Online also had it, and I was a big fan of how that worked, where there is a hidden like rank type thing. Pocket, I don't know exactly how it works. There's your ranking. You have a level as well, but you have a ranking, I believe, which is just like an ELO ranking or whatever. And then you also have like a collection size, and you pair based on that. So trying to pair people fairly so that you'll have an enjoyable game and enjoyable experiences. But I don't actually know if the live experience has it. It's in casual. It has the word beta on it. So this isn't the case of Pokemon like deciding, oh, this is the better option. They could have, I gave a bunch of reasons. I didn't mean to. This video wasn't to be like expanded is bad, although it is bad, but live expanded I think is potentially better. The Sun and Moon on expanded, but Pokemon hasn't given any of those reasons. They could have given those reasons, and they could have said, this is what our vision is for this format and for this game, and people would have been like, okay, even if they wouldn't agree, they'd say like, okay, that's a reason, but they haven't really given any reason for expand it in the state it's in right now. And this has been the case for a lot of things. Like they keep changing visuals. This is a visual change. This is a good looking visual change in my opinion, but ultimately not something that obviously matters that much. The game needs to work and work well and have good features. And right now it's just a way to play the Pokemon TCG, but isn't something that's like, it has a lot of, that's it, right? And it doesn't even always do that. Then we have a few other things here. Moving forward, this singular battle pass will be one of the primary ways. Okay, so it is, just one battle pass will be one of the primary ways for trainers to. Oh, I saw that. The team also made a few tweaks to. No, okay. It's this last thing. So on December 13th, another change to the in-game economy will be released, intended to streamline game currencies and set the baseline for these and future economy and progression updates. Coins will be removed from the Pokemon TCG Live, and all current atonements of coins will be converted into crystals at a 4-to-1 ratio up to a maximum of 5,000 coins. I don't know how many coins I have. I think I have a lot more than that, to be honest. I have no idea, but whatever. Right now, coins are like kind of useless. But then, they're used for certain cosmetics, and this is, for example, if a trainer has 6,000 coins, they'll receive 1,250 crystals with this update. and because it's lopping off the extra 1,000 coins. In addition, all avatar cosmetic items will be granted to trainers at no cost beginning December 13th. I'm actually going to open up live in a separate tab. You won't be able to see this, but I am going to open it up and see how many coins I have. And then deck cosmetics such as sleeves, deck boxes, and coins will cost crystals going forward, so we recommend spending any coins over the 5,000 limit on these items before the update, which I'll probably go ahead and do. I think I have a lot of coins. I think 5,000 is not a lot. Ultimately, this is cool, I suppose. Reducing currencies is good. Right now, there are 3. Well, there's not exactly 3. There's also like cards, which are obvious in like packs and stuff. Packs aren't really a currency in the game. Yeah, so I have 77,000 coins right now. I'm pretty sure I could buy like everything in the shop. I just don't feel like it because that's annoying. I'm not actually sure if I could buy everything, but I probably could. Ultimately, they're kind of like whatever, kind of meaningless, to be honest. I don't want to demean them if you really enjoy them, but I don't really know anyone who really loves the coins in game and stuff like that. I definitely value them less than other people. All my decks have the default setup, which, by the way, an extra another like random rant, which by the way, I'm looking at, how do I do this? The coins look the same, like heads and tails look very similar in the live coins, which is definitely a bit of an issue. It's not like a super massive issue, but also like coins really have one job, and if you're flipping it, that's to look different. And like Pocket does a better job of this. Pocket and live. If you have the best parts of Pocket, live, and PTCGO, you'd have like a really amazing game, I think. But we'll see if Pokemon is able to do that and presumably apply it to Pocket, but maybe apply it to Live. I do believe that these changes are coming because Live is feeling pressure from Pocket. I'm not 100% sure if that's the reason why, but that would make a lot of sense. And they do say, we appreciate your ongoing support for Pokemon TCG Live. I've heard that one before. And as we continue to work towards more improvements, expect to hear more from us in the coming months, and feel free to share your feedback here in the forums. We value your feedback and are excited to be on this journey with you as we continue to evolve to as we continue to evolve Pokemon TCG Live. Thank you, the Pokemon TCG Live development team. Yay. If you want to hear people's thoughts on this, you can look here. These are the Pokemon forums. You can say, Pokemon TCG Live, then discussion. This game is a disgrace. This is the top one. Oh, my Chrome browser is messing up. Is it fixed? Oh no, this isn't. This is awkward. Okay, well, I hope it's fixed. Anyways, yeah, my Chrome browsers are getting kind of wacky. I don't know if you saw any of the like weird stuff, but anyways, yeah. So people complain about stuff. People like complain. I mean, I was just kind of complaining, but ultimately, I don't think there's a thing to talk about this letter. The letter is kind of nice to show that Pokemon's putting in some form of effort. This is more effort than they've shown in the past. Like one of the years, I don't remember what year this was, but Pokemon's like, we're gonna put together a letter for the community this year. And then they put it together on, I want to say it was the last day of the year. I don't remember. I think I recorded a video on Christmas Day, or it might have been after Christmas Day. And it was a podcast with Uncommon Fossil. We were like, yeah, so Pokemon hasn't done this letter, and then they threw something together last minute. So this is more effort than that. I don't know if this is good news or if this is bad news. It's just news, I suppose. It can't be that bad, but I mean, it can be, but it's probably not. I don't ultimately know if this is going in the right direction. This is Battle of the Professor thing. I have no idea. If that's like a game versus CPU, that could be really cool. Live doesn't really have anything like that. There is like the test feature. That's really bad. Like the AI is really bad. Pocket's AI, I'm gonna keep comparing it to Pocket, and Pocket's like AI or whatever is way better. It's not perfect, but it's pretty solid compared to Live. It doesn't necessarily think. I mean, it's not like an actual AI, but it is trying to do the best damage it can, or the most damage it can every turn. And it does that, and that's pretty good, or it generally does that. It doesn't always do that, but we'll see exactly where this is going. And Surging Sparks is coming out, or is out. I don't know if it's out. It's not out at the time of recording this, but it might be out now. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing, liking the video, comment down below your thoughts, and also join the channel, and then you can get some cool stuff. But I hope you enjoyed it, as I was excited to see you in the next video.